There you
Hello.
go.
This is what we're talking about.
Turn those all the way down. I don't have my copy because somebody else has it. I read it in October and I haven't touched it since then because
Ooh.
like 3 people.
Nice. I read it on Kindle from the library, but then I went to the tour and I got a signed copy.
Oh, cool.
I got
Was
it
it
from the
awesome?
library. It's gone.
What's that?
I got it from the library.
So was
It's
it
gone.
awesome?
You're both talking at the same time. I was asking Eli. To repeat it all.
The tour, was it awesome? I haven't been to one yet.
Yes, it was fantastic. It made me very, very happy.
I've read it 3 times already.
That's a lot.
Show off.
It takes me like 2 days to read it though, so it's really not that much of accomplishment.
But still, that time you could be reading other books, but you chose to read this one 3 times.
I've
Yeah.
surpassed my reading goal for the year already.
Nice.
So initial thoughts, Pam, since you read it 3 times.
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite of John Green's books now. I don't know what I guess I'm not prepared to talk about it though, which is crazy. I shouldn't have that excuse. It made me cry a little bit. Yesterday when I finished it, I was in tears because the ending is like so perfect, in my opinion. I have a mental illness, so I can't identify with Asa specifically, like completely, but I get what it's like to be like judged by others and unwell. So I think it's an important book.
Oh, wait, okay.
My boyfriend's looking at me weird. Who else wants
Jessica,
to?
what did you say?
You me?
No, did you say something?
I said who else wants to talk? No, I choose you.
I think I can't decide whether or not Marilyn's brother.
Yeah.
You know, I thought the part of it was interesting, but I wasn't really invested in like the dad storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just, but I think that I felt at the with the narration is like this much of how people who have obsessive thoughts must feel.
Mm-hmm.
Snap out of it, just snap out of it. But you know, it's like can't. And I was actually have a student who has OCD this semester.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reading of the, for me, it helped me understand him a little bit better.
I would agree. I thought that the character was really well. I really liked her friendship with Dee. I was just disappointed that there wasn't really a plot, which is like there was, but it wasn't really that important, which was kind of the point. But it also didn't. It made it less of an enjoyable read for me than I would have hoped. So you know, I agree when people say like this is an important book, but important books aren't necessarily like in good or enjoyable to read.
Yeah.
So not to say I didn't enjoy it, like I didn't hate it, but just compared to all of John Green's books I've read before, like this one, I was like, that was well done. Like this part of it was well done, but it didn't mean that I got out of it like the enjoyment of a story arc.
I think I appreciated that it wasn't this, like, I mean, it definitely had the John Green, like, tone to it, but I don't think it was, I feel like he reuses a lot of similar story arcs, and I felt like it wasn't, like, what Jessica was saying, like, I don't think it was as much about the story arc as it was about the character development, and I appreciated that. Yeah. I think, like, also, like, being in grad school, my mental illness has, like, very much surfaced, and so, like, I appreciated, like, I guess the, like, discussion about having, like, wanting to be fully invested in something and not being able to because, like, her mind is elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about the discussion question or pick discussion questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
can you send me the link because I didn't get it? Or is it on the Facebook? Oh, it is. Never mind.
Oh, it is, but it's also in the chat now. All of a sudden, the video started working again after everybody disappeared.
I guess now that I'm thinking more about it, it wasn't that there was a plot. It was just so secondary to the characterization that part that annoyed me. Like, oh, we gotta go get these pictures off the camera, and they're like, okay, and like I have to be at work at this time, so like let's go now, and then stop and play in the creek for a little. And I was like, wait, like you're supposed to be like action. You're like going to get the pictures, and then walk around. And it just took me out of the story. Like, what are you doing? Like, and now I'm not doing it anymore. You don't very much. Like, also the same like her Davis. Like, I never really got on because.
Oh, did she
remember me? And she's like, here, put your number in my phone. I don't know, but I don't know. It felt like he put so much work into an accurate depiction of her and her mental illness and her friendship and her relationship with her parents or her mom and all that. That the rest of it didn't get the attention that I was hoping for. Maybe that's a better way of explaining it.
That is a good way of explaining it.
Anyway, discussion questions.
What did you guys think? This isn't in the questions. Well, it might be. I didn't read them yet. What did you guys think about him doing another female protagonist?
I actually didn't have any thoughts on it. Will you settle, please?
I don't know. Like, did he choose a female protagonist because he, how do I describe what I'm thinking? Like, of all his books, only The Fault in Our Stars and Turtles is female. Like, the majority of his books are from a male protagonist, so maybe he's trying to even it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was almost thinking like maybe, I mean, he has like received a lot of feedback. I mean, I would assume, at least I've heard a lot of people discuss how like a lot of his male characters have been similar with like the story arc. So I was wondering if maybe because The Fault in Our Stars was more successful in terms of mainstream media, that maybe he thought he would explore female again to like kind of keep that up. But my concern was that like I don't know, that it would be too forced to like try to keep up the same, I don't know, voice in terms of character. Like, is it going to switch now to like female characters who are all very similar?
Question. You don't, okay. No, I thought maybe he had just said out like.
Is it cutting out for everybody?
That?
I can't hear Jessica.
Oh,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
It's like cutting out a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
Mine too.
Okay, well, just envisions characters and like envisioned was female. That's not bad as
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure he's probably written or talked about it somewhere. Did we lose Eli?
I mean, I think you did a pretty good job.
No,
Okay.
I turned off the video. No, I turned off the video feed to see if that would like free up some bandwidth so I can get audio because I'm not getting like I'm getting you guys come in and out in terms of audio.
Okay.
So it's really hard to have a discussion if I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, great. Okay, I just saw that.
I'm still getting Jessica's video. I'm still getting video. I'm just not getting.
Eli just said she turned off her camera.
I turned it off.
Yeah, so she could hear the audio hopefully more.
Maybe I'll do that too.
This will be a really fun video for the people watching.
It's like a podcast. Come on, all the rage.
Yeah. Okay, so let me look at discussion questions.
Yeah, choose a discussion question.
Mm-hmm. It's not like book discussion questions, action questions. Like, group of friends. How do you think the name? Is it well like?
Jessica, you're still cutting out.
Oh. Well, anyway.
Sorry.
I don't think any of these discussion questions are really interesting.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's more discussion questions.
Yeah, there are 16 total.
That's all.
Oh, the orange ones. The blue ones are
Yeah. Notice that. Teenage friendship.
Okay, so turning off the video didn't really help my audio problem.
No, it didn't.
No.
I will put my.
What about the number 15, like Asa and Davis's relationship?
Yeah, that's what Jessica's trying to say.
No, I said Daisy.
No, it's not Daisy.
I was talking question 14.
Oh, okay. Which one should we talk about?
We can start with Jessica's.
14?
Yep.
14. Discuss the dynamics of Daisy and Az's friendship. Is it on even Aza? Okay. Is it on even ground? Do they support each other?
Is that Aza or Aza? Do we know?
Aza. That's how John Green pronounced it when he read it on tour.
Aza.
Aza, okay.
For like the introductory part, like the when the what's it called when the plot like grows, anyway.
Rising action.
I really thought that Daisy like just used Aza for her car a lot. And her Applebee's coupons. And Aza paid for the Applebee's bill too. Like she does provide emotional support to Aza. Like in the first scene where she goes through a thought spiral, all she has to say is thought spiral to Daisy, and Daisy gets it. I don't know, what does even ground in a friendship even mean? Like, all friendships have different
Mutually
dynamics.
beneficial? I don't know. Do both of them get out of the friendship what they need? Given so there was a point when Daisy was kind of like, yeah, so I'm super supportive of you, and you have no idea what's going on in my life. So in that way, it isn't really balanced, but I don't know. I think.
Well, I was gonna say, is it fair to expect someone with a mental illness to be able to be as invested in that way? I mean, like, people have different strengths, so maybe like Isa can't remember specific details because she's so like caught up in her own, but she is like consistent there in other ways, and so like, I mean, it's some things are harder than other things, so maybe they don't put equal things into the relationship, but like maybe it's equal in the strengths that they provide.
Yeah, is it quantifiable in the first place?
Right. It's a pretty realistic depiction of how friendship works. It's not like a business arrangement. It's not like an even give and take. Like you have ups and downs.
Oh, you can't see me. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I was gonna be emphatic and sarcastic, but
it's hard without video
expressions. I just sound like an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, that's and that, especially when you've been friends for a very long time with someone, like you both change and grow, and like sometimes you wouldn't be friends with that person if you met them today, but like what you bring to each other is a shared history that you can't get from anyone else.
I'm nodding.
Do you think that Daisy and Isa will grow apart eventually, or do you think that the story made them stronger?
She covers that in the very end.
Have you read it much more recently? Often.
Page 285. That Daisy continues to be your best friend, that growing into different lives only makes you more fiercely loyal to each other. They might drift apart, it sounds like, because they grow into different lives, but I feel like at the end of her life, we're at the point where she's writing this, which is like her memoir of a very short time in her life, they're still friends.
Yeah.
Kind of in that way.
Is it written in present tense or past tense?
Past.
Okay.
Wait,
And
what's
it
it?
actually,
Oh yeah.
she says, and I know a shrink would say, write it down how you got here. So you would, and in writing it down, you realize love is not a tragedy or a failure, but a gift. And this, like during this part where she's talking in a weird tense, is like her in her adulthood looking back at the point in time where like she sees Davis for the last time, probably for like a period of her life. Like I feel like they probably see each other again because of the last line. No one ever says goodbye unless they want to see you again. Like that just that to me that means Aza and Davis see each other in their lives again.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that the book was written with this past tense framing because I think most young adult novels are written in present tense.
Yeah.
But this is very intentionally framed as being written from a time when she's older.
Mm-hmm.
I think to show that there is a life beyond the kind of mental illness crisis she's going through at this moment.
Yeah.
I think it also shows like how a lot of times the full picture of mental illness isn't really fully realized until later. Like you can't really see the full effect.
Doesn't Aza say mental illness is like a story told in past tense?
You would know. You read it 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, like, I read it this week.
Yeah. So you're probably right.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder though, how much more intense the thought spiral type thing would have been had it been in present tense happening in the moment. Intense to begin with.
Yeah.
But being in the moment with could have like ratcheted that up a little bit. But I'm not like this. It's not a criticism by any means. It's just a curiosity kind of thing.
So let's see, did you do? So he switches on when we go through one particular thought spiral in pretty great detail on 45 and 46 and 47. He tells that one in second person present tense. So like you do this, you tell yourself this.
It's her self talking to her illness, which manifests itself in a person talking to her. Like her mental illness is a person, and it's saying, like on 46, you don't actually want to do this. It's just invasive.
Yeah.
That's her talking to her illness like a person.
Yeah, I kind of saw it as by putting it like that. Like yes, I think that's a good way of framing the second person part of it. Like that's the part that's doesn't feel like it's her. It feels like it's somebody outside of her.
Yeah.
that she's talking to. And the present tense part, I think, is to indicate that, like, the thought spirals are still part of her life, even as an adult, even as she's looking back.
Yeah.
Like, this still happens to her. This is how it goes when it goes. This is not just something that used to happen to her. So I think that switch it was intentional and appropriate for these couple of pages.
Yeah.
I wish I had my book.
Yeah, me too.
So shall we go into 15?
Sure.
Yeah.
Discuss and Davis's. Wait, am I saying that right? Say it again. No, her name.
I was
Is
actually
that-
kind of annoyed by like any romance being in it, but I know it's teenagers, so there's that too.
Yeah, to me it felt kind of
It felt forced.
shoehorned in, like unnecessary.
I've actually heard a number of people say that too. Like, why can't they just be friends?
Yeah.
But if they were just friends, we wouldn't have the whole, I'm not ready for a relationship kind of thing.
Which is an important part of her personality or her illness or her like person or whatever. Like, it makes a good point about the everyday challenges and struggles of living with a mental illness.
How do you feel
Whatever.
about how, I'm wondering how you feel, specifically, I guess, Eli, too. How do you feel about the message? Because we're all older reading this, and though we, like, kind of grew up, sort of, I guess, with John Green books, do you think his focus is still high school youth? Or do you think that his writing has aged with his audience? And if so, do you think that like it's important to make the point that people with mental illness, I mean, it is important to make that point, but is it more important to make that point and keep the romantic like interest there, or to just like focus less on the romantic interest at the risk of losing that point?
Okay, you said a lot of things.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack.
I guess like wherever you want to start.
The clearest.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the audience. I don't think clearest example.
At all.
I can hear you.
I can hear you again.
I can hear both.
Yay, technological difficulties.
Whoa. Okay. I just heard everything you said sped up in 1 second.
Example I can think of.
Oh no, what's happening?
Probably just me.
So many technical difficulties.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clearest example of an author stories age with the readership is very different book 1 and book 7 in terms of the maturity of the writing has changed. I mean, not that it hasn't changed or gotten better.
Lag. I have lag.
But
I know, I'm getting lag and cut out. On everyone except Pam.
Well, I changed my bandwidth up on the top, it just bandwidth usage. I put it as very low. I don't know if that helps or not.
How do you do that?
Move your cursor so that like the menus pop up, and then you see a microphone and a camera, and then like the signal
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna turn mine on low.
Did we the video feeds out?
Okay, I turned my video or my camera on low. I don't know if that helps.
Okay.
okay, mine's on also.
Hold on, I think someone's
Am I
knocking
still
at our
cutting in
door.
and out?
Be right back.
This is so much more challenging when you can't see your faces.
He's here. He's just come back. You're welcome to come in. I just saw a video call.
There's not. I mean, I think he started really, really strong. I think he's still really, really strong.
That sounds like there's going to be a
It's
but.
like, what?
Were you?
Yeah, well, to answer the question, the changing with the audience is like starting writing for a 10-year-old, writing for a 17-year-old. Those stories are crafted are different, and I don't think the way these stories are crafted is that much different.
Okay, I missed
It's
everything.
not a value judgment.
Oh well.
Okay, what else did you say, Meryl?
What were my
Out there?
I think like if he's writing as aging with his audience, then do you think that romance out for an audience that potentially understands, I guess, more about like the fleetingness that teenage intimacy can be? Or do you think that for his style he kept it in because it was that important to make? Like was it more important to like emphasize that relationships aren't always the most important thing in your life and you have to be like ready mentally yourself to like go into them? Or is it more important to ignore what we have kind of discussed being not a fully well, I don't know, well thought out like romance and focus more strongly on the character development of the individual? So like saying like, was it important enough to keep Julius and Isa in it to make that point? Or would his book have been stronger if he had left the romance out?
From a working with teenagers perspective,
Yeah.
I actually think that as much as I didn't believe in the romance, it was important because sometimes the kids that I work with get so hung up on their relationships, and they're like, even if they had relationships, because there's no other way to be, and this is like need to have care of themselves. So this would be an example of who's like, you know what, I can't do this right now because I'm not in a place where I can, and it's okay. Message for teenagers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think then that his focus is still on a teenage audience? You would say that his craft hasn't changed that much? And with that,
No, I don't really think it has. Like, you know what was interesting in some ways, point of comparison, and not I don't know if this is a good comparison or not, but this one felt a little bit more like Yes King to me. Does show some kind of shift, or maybe it's just the subject matter that feel that way, because I can only process this from like a surrealist kind of no experience.
Hmm. Whoa, A.S. King's from Reading, which is like close to me, kind of.
Say that again?
Sorry, I'm Googling A.S. King.
Talk about why he likes writing for years.
Oh,
What'd you say?
okay.
Like,
Jessica cut out for me.
what about?
She's frozen.
I know. I actually can only hear Pam consistently. I don't know if I'm cutting out for people.
Not for me.
All of the challenges today.
He's talking about writing as the first.
I have no idea what you're saying. I'm sorry.
We hear like every other syllable.
Yeah.
And she looks frozen again.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all still here?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Can we hear each other?
I can hear you.
I can hear you too. And Pam.
Jessica's frozen.
Okay, so, and I have no idea what she said. There's part of me that's tempted to like stop the broadcast because
I think I'm going to stop the broadcast. Sorry if people are watching.
if anybody comes back and listens to this later, we're having technical difficulties, so we're in the broadcast.